The following video is intended for mature audiences. It contains horror elements, adult themes, and language that might not be suitable for younger viewers. Welcome back to another disturbing journey in the southern underworld. But before we get started, I'd like to ask you to please like, comment, subscribe, and share this devilish delight with your horror friends and fam. Engagement is essential, and it helps our little channel grow. George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead is a standout in horror cinema. Not only did this low-budget independent film pave the way for the modern zombie genre, but it also explored humanity's deepest fears beyond just monsters that fed on human flesh. The movie uses the backdrop of a zombie apocalypse to explore societal breakdown, racial conflict, and the darkness within us all. The true horror of this film lies not in graveyards, but in our living rooms, and within our capacity for destruction and betrayal. It forces its characters into extreme situations, revealing their capabilities and what we might become under apocalyptic pressure. Harry Cooper's character is a prime example, embodying humanity's worst traits and becoming one of horror history's most despised figures. The setting, a small farmhouse in rural Pennsylvania, serves to amplify claustrophobia and tension as both characters and the audience are thrust into a survival nightmare with no explanation for why the dead have risen from their graves. The true fear stems from being alone, losing the ability to communicate, and the breakdown of societal norms, not just from the presence of zombies. The film doesn't provide an easy escape or last-minute hero. There is no divine intervention or government rescue. Instead, it delivers existential horror. Watching civilization crumble and realizing that the most dangerous enemies might be those trapped inside with you. This brings us to one of the movie's central themes, humanity's failure to unite in the face of terror. This theme plays out tragically in interactions between Ben, the pragmatic protagonist, and Harry Cooper, who would be easily labeled as the villain if he weren't alive like everyone else. Cooper embodies cowardice, selfishness, and arrogance. He's interested only in self-preservation at any cost. Despite being part of a small family with an injured daughter and an emotionally unstable wife, he refuses to cooperate or compromise with others. He barricades himself and his family in the cellar out of fear rather than logic or concern for his family. Cooper doesn't just refuse to work with other survivors, he actively undermines their efforts. He clashes with Ben, sabotages attempts at securing the house, and insists that the cellar is their only option, even when it leaves others vulnerable. He represents those who prioritize self-preservation over collective survival during catastrophes. Romero uses Cooper to explore darker aspects of human psychology: fear of unknowns, the instinct to protect oneself at all costs, and a toxic mix of arrogance and cowardice. While Ben remains calm and focused on survival, Cooper lashes out and belittles others, revealing himself as a man whose fear will be his downfall. As viewers, we can't help but despise Cooper. His actions endanger the group, and his refusal to compromise with Ben leads to tragic consequences. But beyond being an unlikable character, Cooper reflects our darker tendencies. He refuses to listen to reason, cannot see beyond his immediate fears, and chooses division over unity. In the context of the film, Cooper's actions don't just make him a coward, they make him complicit in the horror that unfolds. In Night of the Living Dead's cinematic world, Dwayne Jones's character Ben stands as a pillar of morality and emotional steadiness in turmoil. Unlike Cooper, Ben represents bravery and intelligence. His cool-headedness under extreme stress highlights his leadership skills. His survival instincts are keen, and he remains determined to protect the group from danger, despite continuous opposition from Cooper. Ben's heroism goes beyond traditional limits. His character carries deep meaning within the socio-political setting of 1968 America, an era defined by racial strife and social agitation. As a black man in a racially tense atmosphere, Ben must establish his authority over a group that includes a Caucasian man who refuses to acknowledge him as a leader. This racial dynamic gives the film palpable undertones that enhance its narrative beyond standard horror. However, There is an aspect of sorrow intertwined with Ben's heroism. Despite his best efforts, things go haywire. The night's occurrences leave viewers doubting any character's survivability. As a resilient individual, Ben stands out in this post-apocalyptic world filled with wandering zombies. However, his presence is also a sobering reminder that even bravery and intelligence are not guaranteed to lead to survival. The zombies in Night of the Living Dead differ from the fast-moving predators seen in later films. They are slow-moving corpses whose terror comes not from their power, but their sheer numbers and inevitable attack on humanity. Their relentless pursuit conveys an uncanny sense of tranquility that heightens their terrifying presence. These zombies are more than just mindless creatures. They symbolize societal decay, an iconic representation of chaos after civilization's downfall. These living dead signify the loss of identity and humanity reduced to its basic instincts, serving as a metaphor for society's dehumanizing forces that strip individuals of their freedom, reducing them to thoughtless entities. This metaphor becomes stronger when seen through the film's racial perspective. The undead don't discriminate. They have an equal hunger for all flesh. In a world still divided by race, the undead act as a natural force, underlining death as the ultimate leveler. Despite the common threat of the undead, societal divides continue to hinder any united effort against them. Romero's use of black and white cinematography gives Night of the Living Dead a peculiar sense of realism, akin to that of a documentary. Its low-budget aesthetics heighten its gritty atmosphere, creating an unsettling ambiance that feels raw yet contemporary. Each frame is filled with fear. The stark contrast between light and shadow gives it a visual style similar to classic horror films while maintaining its modern appeal. The farmhouse transforms into a character itself, acting as a prison for the few remaining survivors who are constantly facing both outside dangers and inner turmoil. Through Romero's precise camera angles and close-up shots, viewers are immersed in the suffocating atmosphere of confinement. The steady flow of events, accompanied by a simplistic soundtrack and sound effects, keeps the tension high even during moments of calm. Romero also builds suspense through sporadic radio and television broadcasts, providing fragmented information about the worsening crisis, reminding us that what is unfolding in the farmhouse is merely part of a larger disaster. Over 50 years since its release, Night of the Living Dead remains one of horror cinema's most influential works. It completely transformed the way zombie stories were told, inspiring countless adaptations and imitations. Its grim atmosphere has influenced numerous post-apocalyptic movies. Even after its release in 1968, the portrayal of societal collapse in Night of the Living Dead remains just as pertinent today. In a time where fear and suspicion continue to divide us, this film serves as a chilling reminder that sometimes our greatest adversary is not an external force, but someone sitting right next to us. Characters like Harry Cooper represent the negative consequences of selfishness and cowardice, shaped by their surroundings. The movie forces us to confront an uncomfortable reality. During times of crisis, we are capable of becoming our own worst enemies. Night of the Living Dead is a zombie B-horror survival thriller that is 1 hour and 36 minutes and is rated R. The Southern Underworld gives it 5 bloody knives. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. See you next time. Thank you for watching.